Hi, everyone. Right off the top, I'm going to claim fair use. I'm going to use a couple clips from a really excellent video on the Picuris Indians in New Mexico. Uh, and I want to review some of New Mexico's history using this map. And I want to thank Andrea D for keeping me motivated on this to keep digging a little more, at least. She did a video on this map also, which I'll link, and stay tuned because she's gonna put out another video from the Great Lakes area, which I'm very much looking forward to. I've done a little bit of homework on the Arizona area of the world, and this was the oldest building I could come up with. I think Arizona uh, suffered a lot of devastation over time. And here's the St. Xavier mission from 1692. I don't think it was actually built. It was founded then, but built a little bit later. And eventually, I want to get on to California. This is San Juan Capistrano, and the architecture is so magnificent here. It just does not compute that this was the same builders as St. Xavier del Bac, which is what they claim. And I think there's um, very large structures in New Mexico that I want to go over that suffered some devastation. And most of the architecture, I think, reflects much of what St. Xavier del Bac is all about. But that came later. I think there was civilization much deeper in the past. And that's what I want to go over. Here's the map I'm using in its entirety. And we're going to zoom into this area. And I'm going to begin by a little bit of discussion about what's here. I call this the Jesus map. Over on the right, it has Terra de Iesos in Ieso. I can't, I'm, no, this is in Greek, so forgive my pronunciation, but I did a video and I'll leave the link. This translates to the land of Jesus healing. And below that is Merde Ieso, Greek for the Sea of Jesus. Now, this was a map from 1674 by the French. And let's start with the blue circles and, Apaches D Navajo. And, yes, there are Apaches and Navajo, in this part of the world. And going down to the right is another blue circle, Apaches, Vicaros, Apache cowboys. This is a little bit of a mystery to me. I don't know. I mean, I language matters. I think things can get lost in translation because Vicaros is cowboys, which makes me think cattle and horses. And I really don't know how far back in the past horses are. I know the Spanish brought them and they would exist in this time frame, but I really don't know how deep into the past it goes. Now, I do know that the Navajo have been sheep herders, going back further from this timeline. Okay, now for the green. Now, there's a circle on the left, Nouvelle Albion. Please forgive my pronunciation, but Albion is could translate into Great Britain. So there we have a new Great Britain, okay? Now we have French, Great Britain, and Spanish. And on the green lines on the left is, to identify to the on the coast, Cape Blanco, San Francisco, Catalina Islands, Straits of Santa Barbara. I mean, these are all Spanish terms. So I have Britain, Spanish, Greek, and French. The big green X is the larger print is French for New Mexico, and uh, the horizontal is in Spanish, okay? And then we have, and I'll go to the purple, we have Quivera, and that is represented of the lost city of gold. Very interesting. Now, gold will come up again. It's in this horseshoe shaped mountain range. It's very interesting to me. And I didn't get circled, but there's that. If you go down and to the left from the 1674, there's like a outcropping of land, and it has Agabella de Gato. And so I typed that in my search bar. The first thing that came up was this map, and the translation is cat stinger. Okay, so these are all, it's very interesting, but my point is that language matters. We have Greek, French, Spanish, with some Great Britain thrown in the loop. Um, and next, just a very quick review of uh, some of the work I've been looking at in regard to Arizona. Now, mostly what we're going to look at is the blue in this video, but I also want to review what I have been um, finding out about this part of the world through the maps. Okay, now that blue arrow is pointing out the River del Norte, and that will come up, which was renamed the Rio Grande. And I'm going to, um, this map and others will demonstrate that the Rio Grande, or the River del Norte, changed course sometime soon after 1674. Now, they say this map is wrong, and other maps do not show it, but I'm going to demonstrate why I think this really is a correct map. And in the same time frame, soon after 1674, the Gila River came into existence, and this is the major water source running through Phoenix, Arizona, as well as the Salt River, which comes next. And that seemed to come in existence somewhere around 1811. And that's when the island of California um, joined the mainland, where the orange stripes are, somewhere around 1811. And the Colorado River seemed to come into existence around 1875. And, by doing a little homework through the people that built the Hoover Dam, it sounds like it was rerouted in the early 1900s. So, okay, now for today, we're mostly going to be uh, looking at New Mexico. There's the map without markings. And this is the current day New Mexico map. And you will see 5 blue circles. Some of them show locations that are still in existence. like the top one, Taos, New Mexico, and then a empty, and then Santa Fe and a empty, and then Socorro. Now, all of these places are still in existence today, and I want to point out on the left, the red circle, that the Gila River headwaters begin in New Mexico, and that runs through Phoenix, Arizona. And here's the older map. I just want to review a couple things on it. And these are the major reasons why I think this map is correct. Number one, on the upper right blue circle, that lake is no longer in existence. And the lower blue circle are all of these towns or villages, settlements, whatever you want to call it, are gone. They are no longer in existence. And there's some spelling variations with the red circles, but they are all on the map. Like Taos ends with an IJ, Picuris, which we'll be talking more about, is on the map with a little variation. Acoma we'll talk about. Um, Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Socorro. They're all still there. Now, I haven't turned every stone on this, but just enough to um, substantiate. And I want to talk a little bit about the green circles. Um, in here, language and spelling does matter. Apache's Gila. Now, that is, the spelling has changed to a Gila. Um, and then we'll move over to the far left. There's Lago de Oro. And here's where gold comes up again. Now, there's Oroville, California, Oroville Dam, Oroville Lake, and there's a lot of gold in that area, and it translates to Lake of Gold. I mean, some of these things may have been on the map a very long time. Moving down a little bit, Rio de Tecan and Rio de Coral are both rivers that have been on other maps following like the similar routes, which are completely changed to this day. And over to the right, this other green circle has Zuni, and I am speculating that it is from the Zuni Indians, Zuni, and also Cibola. There's a town in Arizona in a different location by that name, and also a Subella, New Mexico. So, next, this is the watershed of the Rio Grande River today. And again, I am thinking it was rerouted um, in the past from the Pacific side to the Gulf of Mexico from disasters. And there's very much physical evidence of it. Um, and these massive sand dunes, there's some in southern Colorado, that upper red circle. And in context, I circled Socorro, and below that to the right are the White Sands National Monument. And on the right again, we have the Gila, the headwaters of the Gila River. And just as an aside, there are cliff dwellings in that area. And, I have speculated these people habitated, is that a word? They made homes out of the cliffs to reach higher ground. And now a brief pause to look at the sand dunes. The first two slides from New Mexico and the last two slides from Colorado.